Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special live episode of Squat Cobbler. We have an excellent guest with us tonight, but before we introduce her, I have to introduce you guys to my co-host, my partner, my big spoon on cold nights. Take it, sir.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Toole at KELLYTHUL on.
Wait, I didn't even say my name. I'm Mike at Official Pagan on every. I was just so infatuated with looking at you in that beautiful suit.
Someone special's with us tonight. I put in a little effort.
Means a lot.
Here you go. You hear that, Mike?
You know what? I completely agree. I just said you can be my big spoon on cold nights. I'm always little spoon, by the way, when I'm spooning, just so you know, the next time we're away together, Kelly. I'm always little spoon.
Totally unnecessary information, but thanks for sharing.
Sure it is. Wink.
Is there anyone else with us tonight, Mike?
Oh, well, I figured you would pass it on. You know how we do this? Like I throw it to you and you throw it to me.
That is excellent. This is excellent news because I had kind of ceded this control and I'm glad I've got it back. We are super excited tonight to be joined by the incredibly awesome Rebekah Kennedy, who has joined us on Snarkaholic Radio before. And I think this actually might be her first Squat Cobbler appearance, which...
No.
I've done one other.
Yes.
One Squat Cobbler? Oh, excellent.
Another live episode.
Oh, there you go. And then
It's been a while.
One of my.
It's cool. I mean, obviously, I remember things like this, and it's not enough for Kelly.
Yeah.
It's
and then
fine.
you're on one of Mike's crappy side podcasts too, I think. So
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. I didn't listen to it because
Why would you?
it was Mike. You know, the draw that is you. Speaking of. So as we were prepping and getting ready, Rebekah warned us that there could potentially be a cat in play in terms of kind of cruising through her background.
Please,
Sadly,
everybody on Twitter, start getting hashtag cat in play trending.
cat in play, which was
Yeah, I mean, now she's like gone. She's somewhere else, so you probably won't see her. But it was just in case, you know.
so it looks like I may have that issue. So we'll see how that goes. But Cat in Play was my favorite 80s rap band, by the way. So but we have Rebekah joining us tonight on Squat Cobbler, and we are here. It's super awesome that she is getting a chance to talk to us in advance of, and I would at this point say the odds are about 90%. At some point I will call this show Law and Order SUV because that's how I roll.
You're not the only one, so you're good.
I will try hard. Law and Order SVU this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central. She will be appearing in it, and we've shared a bunch of links in advance, a little bit on the preview, and then a very, very cool little teaser trailer that Rebekah shared here recently. But she's appearing on Wednesday, and Rebekah is going to experience. So my understanding is Law and Order SUV. See, right there. Law and Order. That didn't take long. It didn't take long at all.
At least you warned us.
Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. Law and Order recreational vehicle is very, very popular on the interwebs. Very strong Twitter following,
Yes.
and a very strong Instagram following.
Yeah, they just hit 1 million Twitter followers.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Do you get some sort of plaque for that?
They should.
You should, because on YouTube you do. There are certain subscriber milestones you hit, and they give you like a little plaque for it.
Or they kick your butt off for monetization. If they,
Well, yeah. See, Kelly has gotten into some trouble on YouTube, so I do need to warn our listening audience at home as well as our lovely guest Rebekah, because Kelly has been known to run this show straight off the rails sometimes. So when you hear him start kind of getting a little bit crazy, I'll do my best to rein him in, but sometimes the night just gets away from us.
Yeah.
it can happen. But the awesome social media following that Law and Order SVU has on both Instagram and Twitter, super impressive on that. What they are about to experience is the Squat Cobbler bump that occurs when the power of Squat Cobbler comes behind something. And so folks at NBC take notice on the power that is that. But we're super happy to have you with us tonight, Rebekah. And
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So we appreciate you taking the time to. I'm just going to cut Kelly off. I'm going to wait After you say something, I'm gonna wait a second just as Kelly goes to take the lead and just cut him off right away.
That's a good plan.
Thank you, Kelly, for
That's how I like my interviews
letting me
to go.
interrupt you.
I'm there for you, Mike. Anytime. So
anyway, Rebecca. I'm sorry, Kelly. Go right ahead.
See, I'm super disappointed because I thought Rebecca was my friend, and I had been pitching hard to her prior to the show to call you Mark this entire show,
and then just to ignore you and not even pretend like they're there, and it just keeps coming.
Yeah, and she was a reed in the wind. That's funny. Not gonna do it. That's funny. But you should call him Mark before the show's over. Call him Mark. I called it SVU or SUV, so you can call him Mark.
You called it the right thing. You mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even do that right. So we're on that. But as I put in a lot of preparation for this show. I can't really speak for Mike. I have an idea, but it gave me a chance to revisit your IMDb page. As a fellow IMDb page owner, and I had missed a couple of your roles from last time, and what I missed most importantly was what's listed in IMDb as your very first role. Do you know what your very first role in IMDb is?
Is it the Bible-toting goth girl? That one?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Yeah, and I have a great story about that, actually.
Well, sure. Please share.
If you want to hear. Shout out to Joe Bucknam, who was the director, who I got to shout out earlier this week on another interview. So at that point, I was still doing theater, and I was going to try to start doing some film and TV, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And so I just started looking for like extra work, because that's background's kind of what you do at the beginning sometimes. And I saw a casting call that he was having, and he was looking for certain characters, and I didn't really feel like I fit any of them, but he needed a background. So I emailed him, and I was like, hey, I'd love to just, be somewhere in this film, and so he's like, yeah, sure. Like, that'd be great. And then he invited me to the table read, which doesn't happen very often, but it was really nice. So I went, and the woman who was supposed to play the lead couldn't make it. So he was like, why don't you step in and just read for her for this reading? So I did. And I guess he liked me so much, he wrote me a role. So that was my first role, was he was gracious enough to be like, here. Yeah. So there we go. So that's how she was born.
So talk to me a little bit about a Bible-toting goth girl.
I just need to interject really quickly. You, or at least that character, is about to become the subject of a song. Bible-toting goth girl is amazing.
Yeah, I don't even know what her real name was at this point. So the real director, I say the real director as if there was a fake one. The director works at an actual hotel. And so he wrote it based on kind of like the unique characters he kind of has met as, his experience. So it was about people that work behind the desk that meet different characters. So I, during the day, was like this really straight-laced Christian girl with this Bible. And then at night, I was like this goth, like I changed. I was this crazy goth girl. So that's kind of where the name came from.
Kelly goes through a similar transformation, and he also becomes a wild, crazy goth girl.
Yeah.
It's a thing. So Crazy Witness is another role I had missed. That was in Defending Dr. Carl. So that
I was a witness on the stand, and I was like a gypsy. So she was kind of like, I guess, crazy.
That's what IMDb says, and it's
now,
those were very long time ago.
I need to give you a little bit of background here, Rebecca, because Kelly is only going through this pre-Law and Order talk right now. This was all just an excuse for him to brag about being on IMDb himself.
You're like, as a fellow.
I'm not. Yeah, as a fellow,
as someone who also happens to be on IMDb.
As a peer, yeah, exactly. No, it's always fun to do a spin through. So before we get into the episode in particular, what I have noticed is kind of in house hunting, to a degree in street level, definitely in Crimes of the Mind, you have tended to be characters that get kind of trapped or captured and all that. So I wanted to provide some advice, friendly advice as a fellow IMDb member. Just friendly advice.
He's going to work this in every facet of this interview.
That you should really sit closer to the exit in the future. Just you need to provide, you need to look just like on a plane where you need to look for the exit doors. You really need to focus a little more because you're getting caught a lot into not good situations. And I agree.
Apparently I just look like a victim. So
yeah, and serpentine. That's the other part.
Yeah.
You just kind of make
gotta,
no straight.
I escaped though. I've escaped several times.
Yes, you have.
So there is something to be said about that.
For a while.
Well, see, here's what's interesting about that, though. You seem like such a normal, well-adjusted person who probably had, if not idyllic, at least happy, acceptable childhood and upbringing. And clearly, a lot of the things that have happened to the characters you've played have hopefully not happened to you.
Yeah.
So you're not drawing from any sort of personal experience. So how do you get into the mindset of these sort of victimized characters?
That's a great question. Starting when I was young, the very first thing I ever did was at church, and I was cast as like the bad lamb. I don't, we were like
literal lamb, like the actual
it was
animal.
Why is that not your Twitter handle? Bad lamb.
It should be. I don't really remember the play or what it was about, but I just remember that I was the only one that was like bad that they were trying to change, I guess. I don't know.
So were you like smoking cigarettes and making your wool straight?
No, probably not. I wish I had a video of this somewhere. I'm sad I don't. And then like in 6th grade, we did a modern version of Cinderella, and the fairy godmother was like this crazy, crazy fairy godmother, not like your typical, she is kind of crazy in the movie, but she was like way, way out there. And that's who I was cast as, because I was kind of off, and that's, everybody wanted to be Cinderella, and I'm like, no, like the fairy godmother is like the best part. So so that kind of, not that those were super dark roles, but it started kind of as an early age of being drawn towards the kind of odd and strange and unusual and darker material. The very first play I did when I was like 15 was about this basement that was actually haunted. They like put on a haunted house, and it was actually haunted, and my character was like a ghost. So it's interesting when you haven't had those experiences. It's just purely imagination and putting yourself in that spot. Like if I were to be in this place, how would I feel? How would I react? And I do a lot of research, especially if it's like loosely based on a real family or a real person. I see what their experience was and how they felt and how they react to things, and kind of I'm able to put that in my own. And then I just draw from different movies I've seen or TV shows that I love, or just different things like that, just to try to get into. And it's hard to say that it's fun, but it's a weird to say that because you're playing such a dark character, but it's so much fun for me because I do have a well-adjusted normal life. Thankfully, my parents were amazing. I can't complain that I'm able to
I was hoping that would backfire, and you were like, well,
actually,
when I was a kid,
they kept me.
Were they that supportive?
Yeah, I know, my parents are amazing. That I'm able to just like leave that behind and go somewhere else because I know it's safe, and I know that there's another, I get to come out the other side, and there's no residual to that. And just a very, very fun, interesting world to go into. That answers your question.
It does. And it's cool that you mentioned that you were specifically drawn to these kind of roles. So this wasn't something where you happened to get a role like this and then just discovered you were good at it. You were specifically drawn to this.
Yeah. And I, at the beginning, when I first started like film and TV, I had done a lot of dark roles on stage. but at the beginning when I first started doing it, my agent was kind of just submitting me for everything, because they're trying to figure out where you fit in, and you don't, at the beginning of your career, you don't really get a lot of say on what you're going to do. They submit you and you audition, and what you book is what you book. But the first few things I started to get that were more, larger projects like House Hunting, Season the Witch, they just all were that. They were in line with kind of what I wanted to do. So it just happened to work out well. And then from there, I've just continued on that path.
Yeah. So you've had your tongue cut out, and you've been trapped in a basement, and you've been brainwashed, but you haven't had to podcast with Mike Belinsky for a couple of years. so I
guess I could draw from that for next time.
Oh my God, we should talk, because there's a lot. There's a lot there.
You should talk as a fellow IMDb.
As a fellow. See, I didn't even say it at the time. As a fellow. Not to get too inside, so we love you. We think you're fantastic. We've enjoyed everything that you've done. And it was very, very cool to see you on this very predominant Law and Order non-SUV show. And so very cool. Was that just kind of an agent thing that kind of happened? If that's something you can talk about?
Yeah, no, I can. Yeah. So my awesome agent here in LA, it's BRS Gage, and they sent me the audition. I had to put myself on tape. It was a very quick process. They sent it to me on Friday afternoon. I put myself on tape over the weekend. It was due on Monday. We sent it out on Monday. We found out that Tuesday it was moving on to producers, which means, for anyone who doesn't know, just means that casting really liked you and wants the rest of the team to see you. And then on Thursday afternoon, I got a call from my agent with the offer, and then I flew out on Sunday.
Wow.
So and then I was there for 2 weeks. So it was a very quick process.
Just to kind of take a quick step back from that, were you a Law and Order fan prior to this?
Huge fan, and which I actually was a huge fan of Criminal Minds too. So it happens to work out that it was an extra treat to be able to be on a show that I actually like and watched. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get to play a character with a girl's name this time, as opposed to when you had to play Kelly in a previous show, which is kind of a thing, which is cool.
Which is, creepy Kelly for anyone.
Stop it.
I know a creepy Kelly.
She was so creepy. She just was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that's awesome. So 2 weeks on set then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they shoot each episode 8 days, and we have weekends off, Saturday and Sunday off. So they literally wrap one episode, and the next day start on the next. So it's I imagine very crazy for the series regulars to keep up.
So don't want to put you in a bad position on anything, but it's just I'm gonna kind of guess. It's a complete guess, even though we're fellow IMD folks. So how were they really kind of welcoming and supportive of you bringing? I mean, I don't want to put you in a bad spot. I'm going to guess they were, so you can talk about how awesome they were.
They were actually. I was nervous because being on a show. Same with Criminal Minds. This show has been on for 19 years. Most of them, even if they haven't been doing it the whole 19, they've been there 7 or 8 years now, and they're a family. Definitely, they have a very working relationship. It's a well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing. There is no trying to figure it out, as sometimes things can be. So I was nervous just not knowing how they would be, or they get people coming in every week and you're just not sure. But they were, as Jenna Fisher would say, you kind of feel like you're a stranger at Thanksgiving, kind of thing, coming in and watching and seeing how they interact. But they were super nice and welcoming the first day. They just kind of welcomed me into the set. And were very nice and generous and let me play and played back. And as you could see in the clip, it's a kind of a strange character. So I wasn't really sure, how they would react to it. But they kind of went with whatever I did and played back. And it was an amazing experience. I actually can't say nice enough things about them. Yeah.
Cool. So I just wanted to kind of show. So I want to talk a little bit about. So in the clip we just shared, and thanks again for kind of sharing that in advance.
Yeah.
So what was the candy you were eating?
So they couldn't use
a brand,
the M&M bag. Yeah, they couldn't use the brand because obviously you can't. So they made up something. I can't even remember what it was called. They just made up bags, and it was the bags were either Reese's Pieces or M&Ms, depending on what bag I got. So, because each take you have to start with a new bag because she's got to open it and start over. So it just depended on what bag I got. Thankfully, I like both. So
that's good. So I could be wrong, but I believe on the take that I saw, we are in the 7 to 8 range, possibly 9. How many total did you have to? Yeah,
a lot.
No, how many? A lot.
A lot. Yeah, no, because she gives me a handful the first time and then a handful the second time, and we did multiple takes, multiple angles of that, so that they could, obviously edit it and pick what they wanted. So I ate a lot, and it was in the morning. It was before lunch, so I probably felt like I did feel like I was going to be in like a sugar coma afterwards. Yeah. But thankfully I like both of those things. So that was the nice part. At least it wasn't something I had to eat that I hate.
Now, you had mentioned how you were also on Criminal Minds. Was this a very different experience from your other TV episodes that you've done?
A little bit, only because I was on location and we were shooting, like, so for Criminal Minds, I only was at the studio. So I didn't get to go to other locations and kind of see how they worked. I was just drove to the set every day, the studio every day. For this, we were at the studio some, and then we were in Queens and like just all over. And so that was kind of different, going to location to location. And sometimes we would change locations in the same day, go to 3 different places. So it was just a different experience in that, and then making sure that I was, on the right van or in a van and going the right where I'm supposed to be. And, that was a little bit different, but, they were both great experiences, and everyone was super nice on both of them. So, yeah, it was just different, going to a different state and, not being from there, they treat you very, very nicely. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference for you as an actress jumping from film to television and back and forth? Do you have a preference? Is there a different process for you to get involved, like get ready, prepare for the character?
Yeah, I don't really have a preference. I really like doing both. Like you said, they're different because, for film, you usually get somewhat of a notice. I mean, you usually get maybe 2 weeks to a month, maybe more, depending on, how big the project is, how far they're shooting out, whatever, who's involved. So you have a little bit more time to kind of, figure out your character. With TV, obviously, like I said, I found out on Thursday, I flew out on Sunday, I was shooting on Tuesday. So you have a very quick time to figure out what you're, the character and what you're going to do, and what you want to do with her. And, I think the hardest part for me, I say the only con for me with TV is that unless you're doing a series regular role or recurring where you get to be in, many episodes, when you do one, it's harder because I have to let her go after 8 days. Like, I don't get to stay with her for like a month. So that was a little bit harder, was like letting that go once we were done. Cause I felt like, it's just going. Like you're not just figuring it out, but you're in the groove. You're in the groove of her, you understand her, and then it's over. So that's probably the only con for me, doing TV, if you're only doing one episode.
So we're going to try, we talked a little bit about this before we started up the show. For the squatties out there, Mike and I have been playing around with this whole squat cinema type of idea and co-viewing and all that. We're going to see what we can do on Wednesday night, which will be at 8 p.m. Central, to do a co-viewing. We're going to work to try and get Rebekah connected as well, so she can get a chance to actually see it. So we'll see how all that.
And Kelly's gone.
So anyway. Now that it's just us, we can really focus on getting the show together.
He's like, peace out.
Yeah. I'm sorry that he kind of ran it off the rails in the beginning there a little bit, but
Oh, you're fine.
Back on track now. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about my IMDb page.
I have to look his up because I haven't seen his IMDb page. So
I'm back.
You're back.
Quit talking about me.
Rebecca was actually just saying she was going to look up your IMDb page.
Yeah, well, I can't believe she hasn't done that already. It's very disappointing.
I didn't know you had one.
Yeah.
It's like you've known for 10 minutes now.
Yeah, it's like.
Well, let me look real quick while you guys talk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, God, this pains me to say I owe it all to Mike, because it would.
What was that, Kelly?
I owe it all to Mike. Very super painful to say.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
It's new. It's new. That's why I haven't seen it.
You say that like you were skeptical, like I was making it up.
No. I mean, just like why? Like it's not like it's been around for like 10 years and I just didn't see it. Like because I had looked you guys up before and I don't remember seeing anything because it's new, which is awesome. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yep. And so thank you. So get to Amazon Prime, watch Our Summer Vacation, a wonderfully directed little piece of video by Mr. Belinsky. So it's
and then you have another one upcoming. I'm like, now I'm the interviewer. So tell me about the movie you're doing.
I just try and get in the headspace of it's really hard because I'm Kelly and then I have to leave Kelly. It's very, very hard. So
well, congratulations, you guys, on your upcoming stuff.
You should take a little cruise through Mr. Belinsky's body of work because it's interesting. It's an interesting ride.
You should definitely not do that.
A little more robust than mine, but I was just.
I like the titles. We've got Evil Bong. That's fun, and then we have the bunch of horror vaults. We got an amateur porn star killer. Smokers, Weed of the Living Dead. Those are awesome. So those are almost like my character names.
Not to mention it, there's a parallel. So I think we got a connection here. In the future for the next thing, because there's something upcoming, and I think there might be an opportunity to explore further. So please, folks listening, make sure you're on Wednesday night and you catch Rebecca. And like I said, you just live tweet it. We'll work to try and set up an environment to do some sort of rabbit sharing of it to do some live watch as well.
Yeah, because I don't get to watch it till West Coast. So everyone else, so my parents always call and they're like, "Oh, you were so great," and I'm like, "I haven't even seen it." So
we'll see what we can do to help you out.
Do you question that if they saw it before you? Like, you just saying that because you're my parents? Or
I know, I literally was like, was it good, Mom? Like, was it good? Like, tell me the truth.
Don't you bullshit me, Mom.
Well, because that's the other thing that is hard because, you know, with film, you have a premiere. You usually get to maybe see it before everyone else does. You know, with TV, you know, besides when you do ADR, you don't get to see it. So you're kind of like at the mercy of seeing it with everybody else. So it's scary as an actor. For me.
Now, have you ever had a situation where you really did quite like someone, whether it was a friend or family member, was telling you that they really enjoyed something of yours? Did you ever really feel that way? Where you're like, are they lying to me and just making me feel better?
I mean, my parents are probably biased because they're my parents, but my husband's definitely not. Like, not that he's going to tell me like I sucked, but like I know that like when
that's where I thought we were going for a second. I was like, I'm so sorry.
He's never said that, but I feel like when he
get him on the blower right now, we need to talk to him.
Yeah, he's not a BS. Like he doesn't BS. So I feel like when he says like, you know, whatever, you were great, whatever, it's truthful. And I think my parents, like, you know, I'm sure they're biased in that they're going to always think I'm great, but I think that if they really thought something was bad, they probably just wouldn't overly gush, you know. But I'm pretty truthful with my own stuff too. Like we've all done stuff that like we didn't think was the greatest ever. So, you know, and that's okay because we're all in this. So you
have rocked it. Everything that we've been exposed to, you've totally rocked.
Thank you. I figure that if anyone takes the time to reach out to say you were good, they're probably not lying, only because like it takes too much effort to do that.
I think Mike's
like, it's
lying,
much easier just to say like nothing.
No, the reason that I asked that, because you had made the joke about your mom. I had interviewed someone, I'm not going to say their name, years ago. I did a podcast with someone, and I've been working on film stuff for over a decade. And the reason that I was able to get into doing that is by my main profession. I'm a musician, and I was invited to work on some films. So I knew a bunch of friends of mine had worked on a particular film project. So now I just kind of give it away. People can figure it out. It's a film I wasn't involved in, but a bunch of my friends were. So I was interviewing the director of that film for a podcast. And right beforehand, I was like, hey, I really love the movie. And he goes, are you just saying that because all your friends worked on it? And then we went live right after.
Oh my God.
Like, I didn't even get a chance to respond to that or kind of take that in. And it just made this really weird. I was like, hey, everybody.
Watch this film I may or may not have liked.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you I liked it because some people don't believe me. So I was just wondering, like, do you ever question that when someone tells you that they like it? Are you ever worried?
Not usually, only because like I mean, I feel like I am like, if I didn't really like something, I wouldn't go out of my way to tell them I did. I just probably wouldn't say much of anything. So I figure if someone, seeks you out and says that, then they probably feel that way, even if, you don't. I don't know. It's hard to judge. Like, it's the worst as an actor, like watch your own performance and not judge it and like pick apart every little like thing that you did or didn't do. And, just to watch it as it is and know that you did, the best that you could, hopefully. But yeah, that's really awkward. So awesome.
So we've
I'm glad that I didn't say like, oh, are you just saying that right before we went live? That would have been
that would have been bad. Yeah. So we've got a question from the public. It's a gentleman named Tim Toole. I'm not really familiar with who this character might be, but and I believe we've kind of touched on this in a previous episode, but it'll be fun to kind of go back to again. Do you have a dream role? I kind of think, boy, if I could get this to play, this is what I want to do. And then he has a secondary question about working with bald actors, but don't worry about that one. So just focus on, is there a dream role?
I do want to know the second part though. That's intriguing about bald. That's hard. I don't know that I have a dream role. I don't know. It's a hard question. This character that I got to play was definitely one of them for me. She's definitely very different, as you saw from the clip, than the other roles I've gotten to play. And it was fun to play someone that, she has first grade education and it's not been the best life for her. So trying to, but yet she's so like courageous and brave and, basically puts herself out there for her family. Is something that like when I read the script, I was like, oh my God, I'm in love with this character. And that's mostly what I look for. Like if I'm reading a script and I fall in love with them, then I'm like, this is what I want to play. I don't know that yet I have something that I'm like, oh, I need to play this necessarily yet. Maybe I will one day.
Well, kind of building off of that then. So you've done these big TV shows, you've been in so many movies and everything. Is there a project of yours that you're looking to produce or write or direct or anything like that as well?
I definitely want to produce in the future, maybe stuff that I'm either in the lead or supporting role. I don't have anything that in mind yet. Like I don't have a script that I'm looking at yet. I'm not quite there yet. But eventually I would like to be able to produce stuff that, that I feel passionate about and want to be in. And yeah, it's like, that's a great question. And I've gotten it before and I wish I had a better answer. I just like, roles where people or, women or girls, I guess I'm still playing, are, struggling with something, but yet there's something that you know, they're struggling with, but they're able to either come out on the other side or they're able to overcome, is really inspiring to me, especially for people that have lived that kind of life in real life, to be able to go through that and be the courageously awesome people they are is really inspiring. So like playing those kind of roles to me is right now is like my dream for sure. I guess that's maybe a better answer. I don't know.
So I'm going to spitball here a little bit. Think a little bit about the squat cobbler story. From ashes to ashes with an IMDb page. So it's just something to think about.
What was the second part of the question? Something about balls?
So it was just what was so this I'm gonna guess this person I don't know named Tim Tool might be follically challenged, and so I think he was just kind of probing a little bit to say, so what do you think about working with bald actors?
I don't have an opinion. They're the same as working with
non-follically challenged.
Yeah, guys with hair. I don't know. It's never really thought come across.
It wasn't a very good question, and we don't know who this guy is, and we don't need to worry about it. So. But he did ask, so
it's a fun question because it's not one I've ever gotten. So
there you go.
You know.
So I have a question again, building off of kind of this. So you're putting yourself in the position of these characters who've been through harrowing experiences in a lot of your roles. Mm-hmm. So since Kelly keeps inserting himself into this conversation,
there he is
Kelly,
again.
As a part of this podcast, is going to be getting his first tattoo. Something related to this podcast. Just for the sake of a podcast. So what's the most taxing thing physically you've had to put yourself through for a role?
So in house hunting, and even in this role I had some scenes that were similar. It was very cold. It was like, I guess March. And so it was like freezing still. There was snow on the ground and I do a lot of running, and I just got to wear like a little, for anyone that's seen it, like a little flimsy, or not seen it, I guess, little flimsy dress and like little sneakers that had nothing. There was nothing warm. I didn't get to wear a jacket or anything while the rest of the cast got to. And so that was probably some of the hardest days, was just keeping the momentum and the feelings of whatever the character is, and being cold and running. And they do their best to like put you with like warmers and coats and all that. It's still, and I had some scenes like that in this episode with running, and it was cold. And thankfully I got to wear a little bit more clothes. That's probably the hardest, is just overcoming the outside elements sometimes, Yeah. But I guess it's good because it, you use it for the character too, or I try to. Yeah.
Awesome. So Wednesday night at 8 Central, everybody listening needs to be watching
9
the show.
for Eastern, in case anyone's
9 for Eastern. We don't care about Eastern. They're Central is the noblest of time zones, so that's where I'm gonna stay focused.
That's where my family is. So
there you go. See, they're good people. Unlike Mike, who's in the dregs of the Eastern time zone.
Now, Kelly, if you're going to host this rabbit viewing of the episode, which hopefully, Rebekah could join us and answer some fan questions and things like that, I think, and maybe Rebekah would agree with me on this, you should cosplay as her character.
I could eat candy. I can do that. I'm open to that, but so running, I'm not a big fan. Gotta be honest with you from there. Escaping, I'm not good at escaping. So, but yeah, so we'll consider that, Mike. I'll take your advice.
I'm not either, and that you wouldn't want to be me.
So I'm locking up a little bit right now. How are you guys?
It was like, I'm good now, I think. It was just paused
I think it was Mike. I think that was the problem there. It's unfortunate. But
so for anyone who experienced a little bit of a technical stutter there, Kelly just said if you tune in on Wednesday for our Rabbit viewing, he will be cosplaying as Rebekah's character from this week's episode of Law and Order SVU.
I'm looking forward to that.
yeah. How do you deal with disappointment?
And because Kelly will be coming from a previous engagement, he's going to have to cosplay as her character at his previous engagement as well.
Then we're gonna get a phone call that you're like actually in jail or something because they thought you were.
It will likely create more free time for me. I think that this will be. You're
gonna have to get a wig and a big like green coat.
A green coat and wig and candy.
And candy and look like you haven't slept or showered in like months.
Okay, so the last part I'm good. I can rock the last part.
It's funny because whenever I start usually on these, the makeup people always apologize for having to make me look so bad. And I'm like, are you kidding? It's good. So
awesome. So, Mr. Belinsky, do you have any final questions for Rebekah? Or Rebekah, do you have anything you'd like to kind of make sure you tell the folks listening before we kind of wrap it up for tonight?
I don't have anything to add. If Rebekah has anything she wants the fans to know.
Well, I'll ask you first. Do you have any questions? I don't think so. You tune in this Wednesday at 9/8 Central to NBC. I'm, just really thankful to have worked on the show that has an amazing fan base, and the cast and crew were incredible. And I really couldn't have asked for like a better experience. So I feel really, really lucky in that. And I guess that's what I have to say.
That's great. And we feel very lucky that you're willing to spend some time with us. It's always awesome and fun. Hopefully we get around to next Halloween. We'll be able to do something again because you're crazy awesome on Halloween. But really do appreciate your availability to do this kinds of things. So
of course,
folks appreciate it. So it's great. So with that, I am done. Mike, any closing comments before we shut this bad boy down?
Just everyone, make sure you watch it, DVR it, watch it again, buy the episode when it goes up on iTunes, whatever it is you have to do to support Rebekah, to make sure that is particularly a standout episode so she gets more of these amazing roles and gets to share her talent with everyone. And I think maybe Kelly should do a whole week of shows cosplaying as various Rebekah characters. Just spitballing here.
Yeah. So I think maybe the next Squat Cobbler format.
Bible toting goth girl Kelly, come on.
No, I'll do tongueless Rebekah for the next podcast, which will make it I think beneficial to all involved from there. But we'll see on that. But crazy awesome as always. Thanks again. We'll continue to pester you and have you on because you're great. And with that, we're going to wrap up this special edition of Squat Cobbler. And thanks. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.